Part 1 Introduction. When I think of ourselves as a collective, as humanity, I am left with a feeling of mystery and awe. We pretend like we know everything and go about our days as if everything was right, never questioning the status quo or thinking of our past. It seems to me that it is somewhat of a paradox for us to, as a species, attempt to preserve and cherish what we have while simultaneously knowing so little about our past. With such phrases as never forget being heralded and uttered by millions in relation to harrowing events which we intend on never repeating, and rightly so, it seems even more strange to me that we acknowledge the past and learn from our recent mistakes while turning a blind eye and failing to address the fact that we truly know nothing about our history. Part 2 The Man from the Early 1810s. Picture yourself as an intellectual city dweller living in the early 1800s. You believe life to have never been more comfortable, with brick-built homes, the rise of the railroad, and steamboats allowing trading, exploration, and transportation to occur at a rate that was previously unheard of. You think you have it all. There are even plans for a steamship called the SS Savannah to cross the Atlantic Ocean in a couple of years. You're incredibly proud to be human, and incredibly lucky to be living in this age of commodity and greatness. While your ancestors had to physically hunt for food daily and often go to bed on an empty stomach, you simply walk down the block and buy a bushel of potatoes for 56 cents and a gallon of milk for 32 cents. These ways of life make you conclude that humans have figured it out. As a species, you've become invincible. Humankind has never been stronger, and your place in the universe is finally understood as the kings of the food chain. One seemingly normal day, you get a strange visitor at your house. A man claiming to be a traveler from the near future, around 200 years on. You, of course, seem skeptical of this claim, and ask for him to give you proof and describe what life is like in this supposed future of his. The traveler claims that in 100 years, humans will be able to fly in huge metal birds, and in roughly 150, a man would set foot on the moon. Magic screens with moving pictures will be able to transport any person to any fantastical reality they desire. Cities would look like beehives, full of thousands of moving steel capsules that made chariots and carriages look like walking. More ridiculous yet, this madman actually thinks that ancient 50 feet long beasts roamed the earth millions of years ago, all of which got wiped out by a meteorite. The traveler insists that everyday chickens are actually the descendants of these ancient lizard-like beasts, and explains that through a scientific process he calls evolution, the lizards became chickens in order to increase their chances of survival. At this point, you're sure he's just making up words, and begin to walk away, fearing the sanity of this so-called traveler and his nonsensical blabbering. You know chickens, and there is no way that they have a higher chance of surviving than a 50-foot animal with a bite the size of your carriage, especially when they taste as good as they do and are used as livestock to feed millions. Furthermore, you know for a fact that these large lizards didn't exist, as surely modern-day science would find evidence of these beasts. There is no way that a civilization as advanced and sophisticated as your own would not know about the thousands of huge animals that supposedly roamed the ground in which you walk every day. This man must be incredibly damaged to actually believe that animals the size of houses were once the masters of Earth. Part 3 The Man from the Early 2020s. The scenario I just described encapsulates my amazement and awe towards the arrogance that we as humans have towards our knowledge and history. Just like this man from the 1800s would find the idea of dinosaurs outlandishly insane, We today are quick to dismiss any claim or idea that goes against our pre-established lore of humanity, Earth, and the universe. Our inability to see into the future makes us experience our present as the latest point in the history of humanity, and we often forget that everyone who came before us saw their own time on Earth as the latest point in history. The man from the 1800s refused to believe in dinosaurs simply because they hadn't discovered them yet, just like we today dismiss and refuse to believe in stories like Atlantis, ignoring evidence such as the scientifically proven deluge of 9600 BC lining up with Plato's dates for the destruction of the mythical city. There are immense gaps in our understanding of human history and things that we simply cannot explain, such as the discovery of Göbekli Tepe in 1963, the world's oldest known megalithic site dated between 9500 and 8000 BC, a period of time in which we still insist humans were hunter-gatherers. Or the Roanoke Codex, a recently studied navigation tool from ancient Greece that has made us completely rethink our understanding of ancient human technology. New chapters of our past and new understandings of our present are an essential part of progress, and I believe that the arrogance of the present has been massively limiting humanity for a while. In my own lifetime, I have heard that Pluto was a planet, then a big star, and now a dwarf planet. It is through examples like this one that I have come to acknowledge and appreciate the fact that we truly know nothing. This idea that we know nothing and there is everything yet to learn excites me and fills me with awe, as I am reminded that the year 2022 AD is not the end goal of humankind, and although we have come a long way, there is still so much to learn about everything. I realize that not everyone shares this sentiment, and it almost seems to me like people don't want to discover new things anymore because they are comfortable with the story that we have already told ourselves. I believe there is a lot to learn from our past, and that our picture is not even close to being complete. Graham Hancock famously said, "I believe that we are a species with amnesia. I think we have forgotten our roots and our origins." I agree with this idea and find it quite fascinating that the time we choose to learn from the ancients and admit that maybe there was more to us than we give ourselves credit sparked the golden age we call the Renaissance, a period of enlightenment and rediscovery which massively propelled civilization forward. In the hundreds of years since, we have done many things, but I believe we have slowly become more close-minded when it comes to ideas that do not fit our predetermined narrative. So many of us simply believe everything that we are taught in school and never actually learn to think for ourselves, something that inevitably leads to a slower process of gaining and acquiring knowledge at a collective level. We fear the unknown, when in reality, the unknown should excite us.